You're watching TVC Breakfast. It's time for us to get into the papers now, see what the headlines are across Nigerian newspapers. And we'll begin with the Abuja Inquirer this morning. And the focus here is Mamu. It says DSS warns Gumi, others. It says court will determine Mamu's fate. That is what Abuja Inquirer has here. Now, the Daily Sun is the next we're moving to now, and it says Catholic bishops direct churches to beef up security, say Nigeria in darkest moment in history. All right? Catholic bishops direct churches to beef up security, it says in Nigeria in darkest moment in history. That is what the Daily Sun has in there. From there, let's go to the Leadership newspaper. Leadership says presidential primary fallout. We're aggrieved, but will remain in APC. Amechi, Onu, Nwajuba, all, this statement is credited to them. We are aggrieved, but will remain in APC. That's Amechi, Onu, and Nwajuba. From there, let's go to First News. First News says PDP crisis. Wike sequels on alleged APC plots against Tinubu. Tranquility in ruling party may be a smokescreen. All right? That is what First News has. First News. Okay? All right? Wike squeals on alleged APC plots against Tinubu. That's what First News has. From there, let's go to this Nigeria. This Nigeria PDP crisis, battle to push out ASUU enters final stage. Battle to push out ASUU enters final stage. Don't celebrate yet over confidence vote by, or don't celebrate yet over a confidence vote by NEC. That's the statement credited to Wike there. All right, that's this Nigeria. The Nation newspaper is next, and it says 210 days after, federal government asks court to stop ASUU strike. Plaintiff seeks order against lecturers to return to work. Okay, that's what the Nation newspaper has. All right, from there, let's go to the Daily Times. Daily Times says National Industrial Court summons federal government, ASUU, and parties to appear before court today. The federal government asks courts to order lecturers back to work. Okay, that's what the Daily Times has there. All right, from there, let's go to Blueprint. The Blueprint newspaper is still focusing on the strike. 7 months after, federal government ASUU students shift battle to court. Ngige seeks accelerated hearing, and Uniben staff commits suicide. Really a sad one there. Uniben staff commits suicide. All right, that's Blueprint newspaper. The Guardian is next. The Guardian newspaper says Ekiti, Osun polls, more questions trail INEC server hacking claims. Ekiti, Osun polls, more questions trail INEC server hacking claim. Okay, that's what the Guardian there has. And then from there, let's go to Business Day. Business Day says more pain for Nigeria as villagers besiege 300,000 barrels per day pipeline. Right? More pain for Nigeria as villagers besiege 300,000 barrel per day pipeline. That's what Business Day has. From there, let's go to Daily Independent. Daily Independent says CBN kicks as banks feed fat on excess charges, illegal debts or debits. All right? CBN cakes has banks feed fat on excess charges and illegal debits. That's what Daily Independent has. Okay. From there, let's go to the Punch newspaper. Punch newspaper says federal government may lose 7.58 trillion naira to contract disputes and damages. Federal government may lose 7.58 trillion naira to contract disputes and damages. Okay. That's the Punch. National Economy says Nigeria's electricity woes continue as value chain disconnect pervades the sector. Nigeria's electricity woes continue as value chain disconnect pervades sector. Okay, That's what national economy has. And then let's go to Nigerian News Direct. Nigerian News Direct says Nigeria loses $700 million monthly to oil theft. NNPCL is saying this. You know, the refurbished or the born again NNPC. It says NNPCL. Nigeria loses $700 million monthly to oil theft. Now let's go to Nature News. Nature News says Nigeria Customs intercept 16,000 sacks of donkey male genitals smuggled to Hong Kong. Nigeria Customs intercept 16,000 sacks of donkey male genitals smuggled to Hong Kong. That is what Nature News has. From there, let's go to Daily Trust. Daily Trust says live pension for HOS, the Head of Service Permanent Secretaries, upset contributory scheme. Okay, live pension for HOS Permanent Secretaries upsets contributory scheme. That's what the Daily Trust has. And the Financial Times is the last one now. We're taking this from the international scene. And it says, Queen's coffin begins journey south as King Charles prepares for whistle stop a tour across Britain. Okay, that's what the Financial Times has, right? Since yesterday, the Queen's coffin has been moving, around some of the enclaves that he needed to as part of the ceremony and the funeral rites. Okay, that's Financial Times. Okay. All right. If you see this, Sam, this story on ASUU being taken to court almost 7 months after, it's another issue right here. Now, the point there is, one would think or one would imagine that the end is in sight, especially with the last move by federal government to set up a committee, a 14-man committee to look into all of these issues, and then the agreement to the report that about 200 billion will be released for universities, and then that will be in the next 2023 budgets, and so on. Yeah. But going to court now, I wonder how this would change anything, though.
Well, what the court might do, if it says that it's on the side of the federal government, then we'll see whether the universities will defy the court. But again, if the court says pay them, then we'll see whether the federal government will defy the court. So it's now the issue of the rule of law. Let us leave it at that. But when the matter boils down to the issue of backlog of salary, I feel for the university lecturers, but they too should feel for the students and for educational system. And I'm not seeing that sacrifice. I don't know why that is. I'm not a lecturer. I've not lost my salaries the way they are, but I don't really understand. I don't understand why they cannot understand that there are some implications to our educational system, to the life of the students, and to time. Because once you kill time, to quote Thoreau, he said, you can't kill time without injuring eternity. No matter how you want to make up the lost time, it is not the same thing.
It can't be the same.
Even we are going to pile up hours and be in class.
It can't
We've done
be the
all
same.
of this before. What they do is that they rush everything.
You
don't get to digest the subject well. You don't get to do the assignment
It's not
thoroughly because you are trying to do so many things at the same time, and you don't even digest. It's like constipation.
And it's like fulfilling all righteousness. Let's just rush through,
You want to study the history. If we were to study the history of Nigeria from 2000 to 2018, where we're supposed to break it down, just lump everything
together.
Go, you know?
All right, Kemi is on board now. Kemi, good morning. Good morning. The rain this morning, I guess the rains must have contributed to your coming in late a little bit.
Good to see you both. Good morning.
Good to see you.
We missed Uncle Sam all through last week. It's good to see. Yeah, okay.
No,
I missed you.
You were the one who missed him.
Well, you're using the Shakespearean we. You know because well, blame it on the rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Blame it on the rain.
Professor Sab, yes, absolutely. It was a battle against the odds this morning, and consider that dangerous mix. Rain on a Monday morning for workers in Lagos.
It's a dangerous mix. I like the way you put it.
I was a victim. I was a victim of that, and it's good to be here. And thankfully, you both were holding fort.
Well,
right. And of course, topical issues there. The issue about federal government now going to the court. We don't know how much good that will, bring to the entire imbroglio that everyone is in at the moment, because ASUU, we understand it's going to be a battle of some sorts. SANS professors, according to ASUU, will be granting pro bono services to slug it out with the federal government today. So we wait and see how that will pan out. Chris Ngige and his team, of course, are talking tough on the matter. There seems to be some form of sympathy for either side, come to think of it, but it comes down to the weight of it all, whose side the court will finally swing in favor of. We'll wait to see how that will pan out today.
Yeah.
Well, it's come down to the rule of law.
Absolutely.
That's what I see in it. And whichever way we go, we want to see whether they will abide by the rule of law.
Exactly. Because whatever the court says from today's ruling, someone is going to feel happier and someone is going to feel sadder. If I have to use the word. But
I hope that in the final analysis, Nigeria feels happy.
Exactly, Nigeria feels happy.
That's the larger interest. Yeah. That's the larger interest, by the way. But then the rule of law, everyone will come up with them, being backed by the Constitution, bringing up provision after provision in their favor. Now, it still comes down to where indeed the larger interests lie.
But one would say, well, at this time, this case going to court at this time, maybe we would have gone to court earlier, so that if the court is going to decide, okay, no, don't stay at home, don't go on strike or go back to work, as the case may be, it should have been decided long before now.
Well, is it possible that if the court says, well, you cannot go to court, you cannot strike because of backlog of salaries? They say, okay, yes, we are ready. We accept the court verdict, but we have other issues that are not on the table of the court.
Yes.
So that's the reason we are still on strike.
And another way of looking at it, right?
Go to court to make their point.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
It's a good way to look at it.
Of course, it also gives a sense that apparently dialogue on reconciliation, verbal discussions seem to have broken down. Between both sides. Only last week we were discussing about the VC committee, coming up, the issue of no work, no pay. The federal government is setting up another committee to deliberate on whether the lecturers will be paid their salaries during the period of the strike. And, now apparently Chris Ngige and the team now were, contemplating this step, and now they're in court. We just hope that the courts, regardless, will not, forestall possible reconciliation moves by either side. Everyone hopes that somehow the children get back to school and everyone moves on. It's been such a long time apparently, and it's a new week. Absolutely.
It was obvious from the representative of the vice chancellors who came on this show last week that he didn't see an end in sight. So it is not surprising that the issue is still on the burner. And I hope the education does not get burned in the process, because that is what we are seeing. We have seen all kinds of stories going on with students who are idle, either involved. There was a story of some erotic romps in the southeast from students from a particular university who heard of students committing suicide. So there are all kinds of sad stories which are very human. But young people we use their energies when they are not properly channeled. If the energy is there, it's like a dam that has broken.
Exactly.
The water will
gushes out.
and anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know, as the playwright Euripides said, he said, you cannot restrain a young man in his prime. They will do anything. And youth is the time, as Plato said, youth is the time for any extraordinary toy. And,
all right, we wait for the outcome today. Let's see how the case is going to go. And at the end of the day, let Nigeria ultimately win. And let the education system win. Let the students win. Because going back to classes is what the ultimate is.